Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Vincent Tan speaking. This time, I'm going to share you how to install Versati4 monoblock. This sharing device into these three parts. I put the corresponding video linkages at the below description areas just for your reference. Meanwhile, I also provide the corrected subtitle just for your better understanding. Water system installation. This chapter refers to install the most important section, the water cycle, the red zone. For the water system, the most important is the water flow rate, which we offer you this formula. It relates to the capacity and also the delta T. And this one we can get from the unit, which is the nameplate. And this one is the temperature difference between the water in and out of the outdoor unit. The experimental value is this one. And we recommend to be 5. And after that, which is just input this value, we can get the rated flow rate of the Versati should be this. And meanwhile, we also provide you this diagram, which is available external head of delivery, this one, and also the flow rate relation. It seems a little bit complicated, right? So we give you a detailed example. Let's say you have installed a monoblock, this one, and you have also checked the actual water system, which is connected on the Versati. You can get the water pressure drop should be 60 kPa. And the question, whether you need to install an additional water pump or is the built-in water pump enough or not? So the step one is you can just input this value and to get the rated flow rate to be this one. And from this diagram, this 2.75 from here, we can get for the built-in water pump, the max it can only overcome 14 kPa of the head of delivery. So the actual it will be 60, this one less than this. So the answer is the built-in water pump not enough. You need to choose additional water pump to overcome the head of delivery, which is this difference. It should be around 46 kPa, which is 15 feet. And here is the tip that with half rated flow rate, it will not trigger the not enough flow rate error, but this will lead to poor performance, which will cost more electricity. And on the Amazon, you can just search this water heater booster pump, and we can find out this one. And model is this one, and we can find it in the speed 2. It can offer up to 16 feet head of delivery with the water flow rate to be this one, which is a little higher, but just cover our requirement. To be more specified, with the additional water pump speed 2, we can overcome the additional head of water. Meanwhile, also guarantee we have enough flow rate. And the input power at the water pump, it is 67 watt, which is lower than 100 watt required from the Versati terminal, which means you can direct connect to the Versati. However, the output from the Versati is 230 volt. It is not actually easy to find a 200 water pump in North American, so we require to additional relay connection. And after that, actually, if the water flow rate is in this range, it should be okay. And step 4 is to check whether your selected water pump is okay or not, which is you need to turn on the system, especially when the compressor turn on 15 minutes to check the water in and out temperature. It should be within this range. That means the selection is success. And here is the tips that the minimum allowable flow rate it should be 40% of the rated, which is this value. Less than that, we trigger the FL, not enough water flow rate error. This slide displays the requirement of the water tank installation. Basically, the water tank should locate close to the Versati, which is the horizontal and vertical should within these two values. Meanwhile, according to the local water pressure, if it should within this range, here is if is this pressure and less than this pressure, what is the additional equipment you need to install? This slide displays the requirement on floor coil installation. It is very basic, and you can find that if the floor coils located in different floor, we require this manifold or distributor should be different. Meanwhile, if this manifold or the floor coil, it should locate close to the water pump. Otherwise, you need to calculate or select a bigger water pump. And basically, it should within 65 feet. Inside the Versati hydraulic system, there is an expansion vessel or expansion tank. It is 3 liters with 1.5 bar preset pressure. And we offer you a table according to which you can decide whether you need to adjust this preset value or not. And here is a heads up that the minimum total water volume should be 21 gallons. And we also provide you this diagram for a double check to guarantee the water system pressure. You will need to follow this formula to input the value of the project and then to decide whether you need to adjust it or not. Actually, just according to this table and according to your water system size to decide whether you need to adjust it or not. Here is a detailed example to show you how to use this table. Let's say you just install this Versati and the location is this one lower than the highest spot of the water system. And you also to say the total volume of the water system to be this one. And according to this table, your case belongs to this one, which is no need to adjust it. So case 2, this time it is this value lower than the highest spot of the water system, and the water volume it is this one. So first of all, it becomes this one, which is according to the above formula to adjust the preset pressure and check whether the water volume is can cover this maximum value or not, which is according to this formula. After you input it, you need to adjust to this value. And according to this diagram, this 0.6 bar is this one. And from this one, makes it can cover this value, and which is higher than your case. So our conclusion is adjust this preset value to 0.6 bar is okay. For the water piping, we recommend to apply PBR water supply piping. And also you have lots of the fittings for choice. For the water piping, it is very easy to do that. I just Google a video just for your reference. For this one, the PBR can also guarantee the water sanitary. We can find it. We just make it to be hot enough and then make them to weld down and join together. And that's it. Air removal. There are two purposes. The first is to purge or make the trapped air inside the water system to leave, either from the air conditioning side or from the water tank side. And the other is as we just making the water piping with lots of the welding ports, right? We also need to guarantee there's no water leakage. So during this air removal, we just turn on the built-in water pump or your on additional water pump to circulate the water system to guarantee there's no water leakage, and also we can purge all the air out. Buffer tank. Here are the advantages of the buffer tank. The first is we can get a high volume of the water, either it is hot water or the chill water. This can avoid frequently on-off the Versati. And the second is also just due to this high volume water, we can also maintain the water temperature, not fluctuate too much, especially during the defrost in heating mode. And the last is we can have this buffer tank. This can drain the contamination. For example, the debris, if we enter here, it can always stay at the bottom. And here is the recommendation of this buffer tank, which is 1 kilo. Recommend 5 to 8 liter or 3.4 kBTU for about 1.3 to 2.1 gallons. And for the installation pattern, basically we recommend pattern 2. For this one, it is best for the North American market. This slide displays the detailed comparison between these two patterns. You can find that the first pattern, we series connected this buffer tank to either the FCU or the floor coil, and the pattern 2 is we just install the buffer tank here. So for the Versati, you can offer the water, either chill or hot water to here. Then when required this water, we can turn on this pump to drain out from this buffer tank. And also here is the advantage and also the disadvantage. You can just have a look at it. And basically, also just like what I said, for the North American 24-volt thermostat control, you can better choose this pattern too. That's all for this sharing. If you still have any other question or suggestion, feel free to contact me on my email address. Hasta la próxima. それではまた今度。